From historic homes to quirky monuments to gorgeous green spaces, we're taking you to a sampling of some of the Houston area's hidden gems. Thanks for joining us. I'm digital anchor Brandy Smith. We're going to dive right in. One of the most celebrated art collections in the country is right in our backyard, just around the bend in the bayou. Crossing this bridge is like taking a trip back in time. Just by walking over Buffalo Bayou, you're transported to the 1920s, when these gardens were first planted and this home,
which was the residence of Houston philanthropist and collector Miss Ima Hogg,
was built. She wanted a fitting home for her collection of early American decorative arts, items including furniture, porcelain, paintings.
Here it is assembled in this home in Houston in a bunch of lovely settings such as the one we're in now, so that people can sort of move through these spaces and get a sense of what these objects were like in their time and place.
The Bayou Bend collection is one of 2 house museums operated by the Museum of Fine Arts Houston.
It's one of the great collections of Americana in the United States.
I've only shown you about 3 rooms downstairs. There are way more down here and about 10 more upstairs that you can see most days as well.
Any house museum like this is worth more than one visit because there's so many levels of detail.
Ima Hogg's sprawling home is surrounded by 14 acres of meticulously curated gardens.
We have those formal elements that are on axis with the house, and then there are less formal aspects of the garden that are off axis or behind the house or more tucked away. So you have a variety of experiences when you come through a garden like this.
If you're looking to escape the hustle and bustle, Bayou Bend is what director Bonnie Campbell calls an oasis of beauty.
It takes a bit of finding, but the reward is worth the effort. We would always like more people to know about the Bayou Bend collection.
The other house museum operated by the Museum of Fine Arts Houston is Rienzi. The previous owners of this River Oaks mansion filled it with European arts and decorative arts and then donated it all. You can explore some other historic locations for free. You don't even need a library card, although that is always a plus.
Neighborhood libraries serve as an anchor to communities. We like to think of our neighborhood libraries as community living rooms.
Complete with cozy chairs, friendly smiles, and of course, loads of books. The Houston Public Library System has dozens of these little libraries tucked in neighborhoods all over the city.
And we really just want to bring the community together, to connect.
These are not your grandmother's libraries. Yes, you can still check out books. You can even check out DVDs. You can check out audiobooks, and so much more.
The library card also opens up access to our digital resources. So after we close, you can still go to our website, check out ebooks, check out e-audiobooks. You can stream movies, you can stream music, and all for free.
But you don't need a library card to visit. Anyone can walk through the doors of, say, the newly renovated Flores Neighborhood Library.
We have beautiful seating spaces and, of course, a beautiful children's area for all of the programs and story times that we offer for families.
The McCrane Cashmere Gardens Branch Library has a new look inside, too.
The first thing you'll notice is the vibrant colors.
You'll also see them at the Young Neighborhood Library.
It's a recent opening. The technology in there that is available to our customers is amazing.
You can get a history lesson not just on the shelves, but from some of the buildings.
The Heights Neighborhood Library, it's a historical building, and so when you walk through the doors, you'll notice, pretty much nothing has changed. The original woodwork, the original windows even, and so you kind of go back in time when you visit that location.
Same thing when you see this building.
Freed Montrose was originally a church, and so it was repurposed as a library. As you walk through the library, you'll notice the stained glass windows. You'll notice also, some other beautiful features.
These are just a few of the many library gems hidden all over Houston.
We wanted to make sure that everyone had a place that they could enjoy.
Books can teach us so much about history and the world around us. So can the building that houses them. Galveston's Rosenberg Library is the oldest continuously operating public library in the state of Texas. Now it's part library, part museum. In September 2022, it opened a new exhibit about the Great Storm of 1900. Once a golf course, more than 100 acres along Sims Bayou near Hobby Airport have been transformed. Through freezes and floods, the Houston Botanic Garden has bloomed since it opened in 2020. Just beyond the 610 loop, the concrete jungle of Houston fades into the lush oasis that is the Houston Botanic Garden.
There was a lot of thought given to the plant palette so that there is always something that is in season.
The garden encompasses 132 acres, most of those on an island created by Sims Bayou.
Some of that is formal garden like what we're sitting in now. A lot of it is what we call natural ecosystem.
Not all of the plants are native to the Houston area, but they seem to thrive in this climate.
We're growing it here so you can grow it at home. That's one of the things we want people to take away.
The garden also includes labels, letting visitors know each plant's name and extra details.
This attracts butterflies, this attracts hummingbirds, this attracts bees. So again, if you're looking to invite that wildlife into your own home garden, take advantage of those labels and look and see what you might want to incorporate.
Other critters seem to like it here too.
The number of species that they have seen since the garden opened, it's like more than doubled. Nature has found us. It knows we're here. It loves visiting. We've got turtles in our lagoon. We've got families of ducks around.
If you're worried about finding shade in the Houston heat, I get it, but there is plenty of it here, both natural and man-made.
It's Houston, it's summer, it is hot. But I will say our plant palette loves Houston hot summers.
Even those in the culinary garden, which seems to always have something ready to harvest. Bananas, apples, kumquats, even onions and herbs.
It is an all-season garden.
And it's become a popular space for special events.
Hometown chef Evelyn Garcia, those of you watching her on Top Chef, she hosted a series of pop-up dinners with her partner Henry Liu out around we have our gathering table, or our harvest table as we call it. It seats about 30 people, so they were having these kind of intimate sunset dinners.
Dinners, musical performances, workouts. The garden's calendar is full of events to get you to visit.
There are reasons to come year-round.
And maybe become a member. Houston Botanic is one spot where you'll find QR codes for ROCO on the go. ROCO is a 40-piece chamber orchestra based in Houston. It pays for the rights to share its music for free and cultivated playlists to accompany you on walks through some of Houston's beautiful spaces like Buffalo Bayou Park, the Houston Arboretum, Memorial Park, and more. But if you're in search of a place to quiet your mind, come walk the Freedmanstown Labyrinth. When a fire damaged a historic church beyond repair, its congregation opted to use its remnants to build the labyrinth. The bricks that made up its walls are the same ones lining the path here. One way in, one way out. Public artist Reginald Adams designed and helped build this labyrinth and several others around the city and the world. While you're out and about exploring the city, keep an eye out for Houston's iconic blue tile signs. They're on beers and bars, shirts and cards, but blue tiles got their start on Houston's curbs.
Blue tiles are the mosaic street signs that initially started while the city started.
Started paving streets, that is, in the 1920s and 30s. Forget the green signs we're used to today. 100 years ago, these told you where you were.
You'll find 4,000 plus all around the city of Houston.
Joey Sanchez found his first one back in 2015.
We noticed this beautiful font on the streets and we wanted to document it. So we created the Blue Tile Project and asked people to send in their photos.
Those photos showed some of the tiles perfectly preserved, some barely hanging on, and some already lost to weather, construction, or just time.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
The project also helped educate Houstonians about this unique piece of their city's history, which is probably why you've started to see the blue tiles used a whole lot more.
It's just amazing to see the city adopt this image that's always been there. They just haven't paid attention to it or celebrated it. And that's what Blue Tile Project's here to do, is to celebrate the beauty of Houston.
A celebration of Houston's past in the present that looks to the future. Sanchez revamped BlueTileProject.com with a promise of something bigger coming soon.
A whole community that is coming together over a beer, over a coffee, and to celebrate all things Houston.
That community that Sanchez talked about, that's being fostered at the Blue Tile Coffee Shop. It's right next to the HEB on Washington Avenue. From one passion project to another, Angleton is famous for its hearts, so much so they're part of the city's logo and tagline. Home is where the heart is. They were built 15 years apart by Butch Morrell and his team at Coastal Machine and Mechanical. In 2000, 7 9-foot tall hearts went up all over the city. Then in 2015, they put up the 20-foot heart near the Brazoria County Courthouse, which is now a popular spot for photos. The Houston Ship Channel and Port of Houston are huge economic drivers for our area. If you want to see how it all works, you can, and it's free.
You give us a chance to show you what the port's about.
Since 1958, the Port of Houston has offered a free boat trip along the ship channel, giving the public unique perspective into its impact on Houston.
Very important to Houston.
From the wheelhouse of the Sam Houston, Genaro Umbres captains a sometimes twice daily tour of what the Army Corps of Engineers bills as the busiest federal waterway in the country. He first boarded the vessel nearly 30 years ago.
Started off as a deckhand.
Now senior captain, Umbres helps guests navigate the ship channel and its history.
The older side of the Port of Houston where it shows some of the older docks. And we go along under the 6-inch bridge there, show some refineries. And it just pretty much just shows them a side that they just can't see from the land.
The guests,
They're always asking a lot of questions.
often from business groups and schools,
You always get to meet different people.
want to learn more about the economic 1-2 punch of the channel.
The channel is 52 miles long, and it's hard to believe that it goes so far into Houston.
And the port.
I always tell everybody, everything you have on probably comes to the Port of Houston. You know, your clothing, your electronics, even some vehicles, I mean, just everything.
It's all transported in and out on the massive cargo ships that line the channel, more than 200,000 of them a year from all over the world. The industries along the waterway contribute to more than 1.3 million Texas jobs. But it's not all business. The tour also passes by the place where Santa Ana was captured after the battle at San Jacinto. The 90-minute ride is like a business, economics, and history class all rolled into one.
Some people come on here and they say that they've lived here 30 years and they don't know about it.
Now you have no excuses. As you saw, that boat usually fills up quickly, so you're gonna need reservations ahead of time. We have all that information linked in this article on KHOU.com. Follow the ship channel upstream and you'll end up in Buffalo Bayou. The waterway at the heart of Houston has gotten a makeover thanks to the Buffalo Bayou Partnership. As part of the Buffalo Bayou East Plan, Fifth Ward's Jaffet Creek Park will be reimagined. The tiny green space is smack dab in between metal recycling yards on Clinton Drive, but it offers neighbors a chance to connect with nature. Further upstream, Buffalo Bayou Park offers miles of trails and green space, but underground, a piece of Houston history is preserved. The cistern was built 100 years ago and stored the city's water supply, about 15 million gallons of it. It was decommissioned in 2007, reimagined in 2016 when it opened to the public. Near the other end of the park, a lake lost for decades has been restored. It's called Lost Lake. Yeah, the dam that created it failed in the 1970s, draining all the water. But when the partnership was building out Buffalo Bayou Park, it brought the lake back to life. You'll find it at the intersection of Dunleavy and Allen Parkway. Some of the most popular shows out there right now, like Paper Girls, Sandman, and the Umbrella Academy, they're all based on comic books. If you want to scout out the next big hit, you want to cruise this place. It's hard to miss this week's hidden gem. It's the bright blue building off 59 between Kirby and Buffalo Speedway. And if you've ever wondered what's inside Third Planet, well,
basically we deal in anything sci-fi, fantasy, toys, models, t-shirts, gaming.
We are the oldest privately owned comic book store in Texas. TJ's been doing this for almost half a century. So he opened a couple years before Star Wars.
these days, Star Wars accounts for a solid chunk of Third Planet goods. But then and now, comics are what really brought customers in.
There's every genre you can think of. Everything from horror to comedic, the superheroes, the romance.
The key idea here at Third Planet is that comics are for everyone. And if you're looking for a way to get started, how about with a comic that inspired a TV show?
Whatever you want, there's a comic for it.
Kids love getting into comic books because it's that healthy balance of like a TV show, because there's pictures, but there's still enough dialogue that they're actually reading and they're ingesting a story.
Beyond these books, Third Planet carries games, Lego sets, collectibles, and more.
We've got a little something for everybody. Our stuff goes way back. We're not like a corporate type store. We just have the new stuff, get it in and get it out.
So whether you're in the market for a $7,000 issue of The Incredible Hulk, adding to your magic decks, interested in supporting local artists, or just browsing, Third Planet is loaded with choices.
Definitely, yes.
Been here for 47 years, not going anywhere.
Neither is this next gem. The namesake for the organization that puts on Houston's Art Car Parade, takes care of Smither Park, and preserves the Beer Can House.
This space was built by a man who didn't have any formal training in building or architecture. Put it together to create an ode to his favorite fruit.
This is the Orange Show.
It's one of Houston's hidden gems.
Whether you're a big picture person or a detail person, the Orange Show will blow your mind.
He spent about 30 years building it, and it's completely covered in mosaic tiles, found objects, pieces that he picked up and found throughout the city and throughout his travels.
Jeff McKissick started work on the Orange Show in the mid-1950s. Its doors opened in 1979, and he passed away a short time after.
The arts community rallied around it and then formed the foundation, which today is the Orange Show Center for Visionary Art, with a mission to preserve and promote places such as this.
And Smither Park, and the Beer Can House.
We want to celebrate the artist that's within everybody, because Jeff McKissick was not an artist, but we consider this to be a really incredible form of art that he created.
The National Park Service does too, which is why it recently awarded the Orange Show a $500,000 grant.
This grant is going to help us to really restore the Orange Show back to how it was when it was first built, and continue the tradition of the Orange Show for many generations to come. It's a really great opportunity for people to experience something different in the city.
Right next door to the Orange Show is Smither Park. The mosaics here make the mundane ornate. We're talking tables, pillars, light poles, and more. The park's open from dawn until dusk every day, and it's free. The Orange Show's other property, the Beer Can House, is open on weekends. All of this was done by John Milkovich, an upholsterer for the Southern Pacific Railroad. As a pastime, he transformed his Rice Military home using every part of the beer cans he and friends emptied. What do you get when a group of award-winning animators and storytellers want to bring their creations to life? The Department of Wonder in Sugar Land. This first-of-its-kind experience just opened in late 2022. Part theater, part video game, part movie, part escape room, part choose-your-own-adventure book. This place truly defies definition. You will have to see it for yourself. In the wake of Hurricane Harvey, two women wanted to help a Houston neighborhood stay afloat. Together, they created a unique space where you can spend a lot of time and a lot of cash if you're not careful.
We hear a lot of, what is this place? We're in Black's Bodega in the heart of the warehouse district.
Owned by Courtney Blackmore.
Owner, proprietor, HBIC, Block Mother. There's like a lot. There's a lot of titles.
Including Bodega Lady.
I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, let's give this a try.
She opened Black's in 2017.
Trying to make a place that, you know, I would go to.
Just months after Harvey wreaked havoc on the warehouse district.
The entire neighborhood is the hidden gem.
With the help of operations manager Annie Gonzalez,
we've got a really fun vibe. It's a homey vibe.
Blackmore created a gem within a gem.
We are the target of convenience stores. Like, we have a little bit of everything, and you come in here for one thing and you leave with 20.
This is the beauty of Black's. You can come in, scope out some new sunglasses, then, hey, grab yourself a soda or whatever else you want in here.
You can get a, Def Leppard t-shirt and some Cheez-Its, or a 6-pack of beer and some like cool enamel pins or a record.
Or keychains, or guitar strings.
This is the kind of place that you kind of want to dig through and make sure you're seeing everything, because you will miss something.
It's a convenience store, yes, but it's also now a vital part of this neighborhood.
One of the most unique neighborhoods in the entire city.
It's a fun part of the city to be in.
Luring new people in.
It's fun. Every day we get to see the neighborhood through new and old eyes.
I hope they have a good time, they find something that they love forever, and they think about the time they were at Black's Bodega, and hopefully they'll come back.
It gives me kind of like a little bit of purpose.
The Four Seasons isn't what you'd call hidden, but the speakeasy inside the downtown hotel is. You can only get to Bandista if you have a reservation and can find your way in. Once you're inside the cocktail laboratory, you can order off the menu or go for dealer's choice, then enjoy your drink at the bar or in the lounge. This is another unique bar experience. KHOU got its name from a festival that used to be held here up until the First World War. The building went up in 1893 and served as a department store and pawn shop before Jim Pirtle bought it in 1995. Now it is a craft cocktail bar and art gallery. You can also check out art on a much larger scale on the University of Houston main campus. Its public art collection got started in 1969 and now includes hundreds of pieces. Some of those are in galleries on campus, others are right there on campus, and many come from Texas artists. Sam Houston State University in Huntsville also has a growing public art collection.
The campus itself is beautiful. We have rolling hills, we have lots of trees.
Mixed in with the green of nature and brick of the buildings are pops of color.
We have a lot of beautiful art for people to look at, forms and colors and shapes and things to make them think about art while they're walking around. Sort of like an outdoor museum.
Michael Henderson is chair of the arts department at Sam Houston State University, which is based in the new Dana G. Hoyt Fine Arts Building.
This area of campus is now sort of the arts quadrant. We're across the street from the Performing Arts Center and the theater, and just near the music building.
Fittingly, you can find art in and around that area and beyond.
We have a lot of art that's been acquired in the past few years as campus has grown a lot, and we've been able to purchase things with public art fund money.
There are a number of pieces on campus from Houston artists, including this one. This installation is by Dan Phillips, and if it looks familiar, that's because he's one of the artists behind Smither Park.
We focused on purchasing art by artists who have a Texas connection in most cases.
The pieces give passersby, students, teachers, parents, reason to wander and wonder.
The art is like punctuation marks that give you something to think about and look at.
It's a reminder that the art scene here has much more to offer than just the iconic Sam Houston statue we all know.
There's a lot of art in the town also, and there's a lot of artists.
His name was the first word spoken on the moon, but Sam Houston is still really considered just a Texas figure. The museum at his former home in Huntsville hopes to change that. It's another gem you can visit while you're up north. President, governor, general, congressman, senator. Sam Houston held a lot of titles in his life, which ended in this room in 1863. His funeral happened upstairs in the Steamboat House, one of several Houston homes on the grounds of the Sam Houston Memorial Museum.
We have 15 acres of property that once belonged to Sam and his family.
The Woodland home is still located on its original site.
During most of the year now, we have interpreters who are outside in historic clothes.
At the Woodland home, you'll see real letters written between Houston and his wife. They're changed out every so often, so are the vignettes inside.
To be able to give people a glimpse of their daily life, that's how we interpret, and that's what we interpret, and that's, we base everything that we do on those documents that we have.
The grounds include a store, a number of cabins, and even a working blacksmith shop. It's free to explore the grounds here at Sam Houston Memorial Museum, but if you want to go more in depth, if you want to see artifacts, you're going to have to pay admission to go inside.
We have the largest single collection of Sam Houston related items, so you can see cool things like Houston's vest. He would wear it in the Senate often. He'd say, I'm just like a leopard, I never change my spots, kind of deal.
The vest is actually jaguar, a gift from his Cherokee friends.
Don't let that ruin a good story.
The museum also highlights the Battle of San Jacinto.
Because Sam Houston is, one of the quote-unquote fathers of Texas, we have a lot of early Texas-related things as well.
Museum Director Derek Birdsall hopes this pioneer's career will provide a modern lesson in citizenship.
If we can get people to look at the variety of things that Houston did over his career with a variety of people, maybe we can start those conversations ourselves.
Finally, this is quite a bit east of Huntsville. Think in between Cleveland and Liberty, but it is a getaway if you're looking for one. The retreat at Artesian Lakes is built around dozens of Finger Lakes filled by artesian springs. The property has a couple dozen rental cabins available that can fit anywhere from 2 people up to 18. If you want more information about any of these gems, pop over to khou.com/living. You can also learn about more gems. We only featured a few of them here, so dig into the more than 50 in this YouTube playlist. And one more thing, I told you about these gems. Now you tell me your favorites. You just email me. It's bsmith@khou.com. Let me know where it is and why you love it, and we just might highlight it. Happy exploring.